Did Dave look like a guy who hadn't played for the majority of the last 2 years when you watched the tape back on Sunday?
David's a pro. He's a perfectionist. I mean, just ask him, he'll tell you. But, there's a reason why he's one of the best left tackles in this league. Of course, he wants to be perfect every play. Is he going to be? No. There are things that he wants to clean up that we want him to clean up, but it's a great start to get better and be out there and play full speed. So very encouraging and very excited.
Luke, how did you feel, both Dave and Yash handled that altering with the left tackle spot, and how did that go for the guys?
I mean, the best as they could. I think both of them didn't know going in what it was going to be like, but I think it was great. They both handled it like professionals, and we have a luxury in having Yash be able to fill in for David this past season, and now going forward, we'll figure all that out.
Dave said after the game, he said, hey, full disclosure, I wasn't crazy about the rotation, and Yash seemed to say the same thing. How did you convince him, or did you just say, hey, let's just do it and see what happens?
Oh, these guys are team players. They understand the team is bigger than anybody. So that's first and foremost. Both those guys are going to do whatever it takes to help this team. They might be opinionated and say what they want, but going in that locker room, I know that each and every one of these guys in here can count on them to do what's best.
Dave has barely played in 2 years, and Yash has played pretty well in that time. How much difference do you get right now between where Dave's at and what Yash can give you?
I mean, it's having a luxury, like I said earlier, right? Having a guy like Yash who's played well over this past year and a half, and then having Dave coming back. So we're going to figure that out. It's a day-by-day thing, and right now we're still trying to figure out, is Dave going to play a whole game or not? I mean, who knows? We'll figure all that stuff out, but it's nice to have a 73 next to me and to have somebody else, instead of, both those guys being in street clothes on the sideline.
Look, you played. You've been around the game your whole life. Just how impressive it really was what Dave did. I mean, look, he didn't play for like a year last year. He comes against Detroit and plays
29 plays?
Almost perfect. I mean, and then he doesn't play like 9 months. He does what he did the other day. I mean, Elton is a great player too, but even he missed a few plays. I mean, can you put in words just what Dave accomplished?
I can't, because my ability or lack of ability never put me in that position. It is incredible, though, both those guys. And like I said, both those guys want to do everything perfect. They wanted to be back to their Pro Bowl caliber form day one. That was Elton last week. That was 2 weeks ago. That was Bach last week. And of course, reality, you're not going to be to where you were at. But that's how you get better. You go out there and practice. Yeah, that's important, definitely. But going out full speed versus a different opponent, that's where you're making your most strides, I think.
We've only seen Yash at left tackle. Can he be a starting right tackle right now?
Yash has all the ability in the world. Again, we're going to, unfortunately, during training camp, during the past year, he's had to fill in at that left tackle, so he hasn't had a ton of reps at right tackle. But that's my job, that's our job, is to figure that out.
How different is that position in this offense compared to the left side? Obviously, you're flipping your feet and your technique and everything, but as the position itself, how different is it?
Well, mentally, it's, you're just on the other side. You have to flip that. I think the biggest thing is physically, muscle memory, your footwork, your stance, your get off. That's where it comes into play a little bit.
Luke, is there a bigger difference switching sides at tackle versus guard, or is it the same thing at guard?
I think it's different. I think it's the same on both sides. Obviously tackle, you got a lot of space. So there's speed and guys off the edge. Maybe that's a little bit different, compared to being inside where whether you're left or right, you're getting on a defender pretty quick. They're right on top of you. So it's hard regardless. People think that it's easy. We've had that luxury of having guys being able to do that. That's not the norm.
Elton can play every position, obviously, but he's been a Pro Bowler at guard. Is there more value when you get your best five out there for him to be an interior guy?
Well, that's something that we'll have to figure out, and that's something with Matt and Steno and obviously Elton and Yash and Dave and everybody else that when it comes down to it and we have to make that decision, that'll be a group decision.
As the coach of two talents like Jenkins and Bakhtiari and what they're coming from, and you trying to get just through the next practice, that must take a lot of a lot of extra prep and communication to figure out what we're doing tomorrow, right?
As much as I would love to take all the credit for that, there's no way. It's those guys. I'm very fortunate to be in this position to have both those guys, to have everybody that's in that room, and very grateful to be a part of it and help in any way I can. That's my job, is to put those guys in the best position to be successful and to help this team win. And yeah, sometimes it takes a little bit of work, sometimes it takes a little bit of juggling, but that's my job.
How far has Josh come since that week 3 trip to San Francisco last year? I think he's got, what, 10 starts and 750 snaps since then. What's the difference between whoever he was then and what we have him now?
Well, I mean, this is a tough profession. I mean, I don't care if you have 10 starts, if you have 2 starts, if you have David's years of starts. It's hard. The guys that he's blocking are very good. So he has matured. He's gotten a little more, we don't want to say comfortable, but he's gotten more comfortable with the playbook and knowing what to do. And then physically, he's just getting better and better every day with technique and again, seeing those live reps.
You coming off a game against Todd Bowles and their attacking style, what's the challenge with Belichick? Is it kind of a similar thing, or is he attacking in a totally different way?
Well, I mean, there are some differences, obviously, in their defense. Bill Belichick has been doing this for a long time and doing it at a high level with multiple personnels. So it's a game plan that we're going into a little bit different, but ultimately it's about the Green Bay Packers. So yeah, are the fronts different? Is the structure of the defense different? Yes, but that's, our job to figure that plan out and do what's best for this team.
Did Jake Hansen have a good camp and struggle in the Vikings game, and what are some things you're working on with Jake?
Well, with Jake, he's been the glue guy of being the interior 3 backup. With Elton being out that first week, he got an opportunity, and he did some. We said he struggled in Minnesota. He did some really good things too. For a guy that hasn't played a whole lot, there's some good things that he's done, and we're going to correct the good things and the bad things. We're going to treat them both the same, right? We're going to learn from it and grow. So there's some things in pass pro that he needs to clean up, but I thought he did some really good things in the run game.
Luke, I know we talked with you about Caleb during the offseason a little bit, but what did you see from him to put himself in a position now to be on the 53 with what he did in camp and just kind of the way he's developed the last few months?
It's all a credit to him. The way he has came in here and approached this profession, this job, coming in at the weight he came in at, the shape that he was in. To be honest, I didn't know if he had a chance. And now to put himself in the opportunity to be part of a 53-man roster in this league is incredible. So he'll tell you, it's what he's done. His habits have changed, learning from guys like David and how to approach this thing. And if you really want to do this for a long time, then you better change your ways a little bit.
Luke, for a wide zone team, you guys run a lot of gap scheme and power plays and lots of pulling and stuff like that. Is that a function of who you've been playing? Is it a function of who you have up front? Is it just a change in how the league is going now? Or?
I think our offensive coordinator was a little bit too close to the glue container and what he's doing. Yeah, we are a wide zone team. We are a gap scheme team. We are an inside zone team. We're a man team. The cool thing is we do have a lot of schemes, and we're kind of, again, based off defense, based off looks. That's what we run that week. But you know, he's done a tremendous job of putting us in the right position, and our guys have done a great job of executing.
Having Newman and Myers make that a little bit easier.
As far as the wide zone scheme, yeah, they're both athletic. They both could run. Josh is doing some really good things in the run game right now as well. And again, they played their first year and third game, so they're not considered rookies anymore. But both those guys have not played that much football. Royce has played a few games last year, but Josh with the injury, and he still has a lot to grow, a lot to learn, but he is getting better, right? The constant, never-ending improvement, and he's hard on himself, so he'll work tirelessly to get better.